Hi, good evening, everyone. We'll carry on with our program, the remainder of our program for the evening. How was your meal? All right. We want to take note, if everybody would take note of the centerpieces that are located on your tables in the center of your table. There's lots of stuff there. There's little flags. There's stuff around it. There's little rectangle plastic things that say Enlisted Association on. Those are actually corkscrews. That was pointed out to me. And I want you to know that these beautiful centerpieces could be going home with you. So I want you to, if you find a ticket located underneath your chair, then you can take that centerpiece home with you. I know it is. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not, there's no tickets under your chairs. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. It's crossed off, and I read it anyway. But it was really fun to watch from up here. So you will all, in the spirit of a good endeavor like the Enlisted Association, there's no ticket under the chair. I thought he was cutting that thing open. I mean, it was still working on it. All right, so you will have to decide in the spirit of this community that at your table, you know, who's going to get what, and hopefully that doesn't break up into something even funnier with fights and so forth. So, but those things in the center, the centerpieces are for you to take. You can decide how you want to split those up, or give them all to one deserving person, whatever you want to do. But now we will begin with the presentation of the EANGUS scholarships, and we'll have Chief Master Sergeant Rosemary Marston, our scholarship chairperson. Come on up here and take it away.
That was great. Nope, that's not gonna work. All right, good evening, all. I would like to invite President Craig to join me on stage as we prepare to present the 2019 scholarships. This year was a remarkable year for the scholarship program with over 300 applicants, $17,500 in corporate sponsorship and personal donations, and 12 full tuition scholarships thanks to the generosity of our university partners. As most of you know, the majority of the scholarships are open to not only our EANGUS members, but to the spouses and dependent children of our members in our continued effort to support the welfare and National Guard members, retirees, and families. To kick off the scholarship presentations, I would like to invite Chief Master Sergeant Retired Dick Smith from USAA to say a few words.
Thank you, Chief, and good evening. I'm proud to represent USAA as once again we present our national scholarships. USAA is very committed to EANGUS, and we've been a very long-term partner of this organization in many ways. Education is one of them. The more we invest in the future, the more we educate our young folks, the better our future is going to be. And that's why we're committed to in a lot of the things that we do, we are committed to always contribute to the EANGUS scholarship and your state scholarships. and we've been doing this a long time. So without further ado, that's all I want to say is just that we are proud to be here. We're always proud to be an EANGUS sponsor, a sponsor of the Auxiliary Scholarship, and all 55 state, territory, District of Columbia, and National Guard Bureau chapters scholarships for this organization. Thank you very much. You want me to stay up there?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief Smith. Will you please join President Craig for the presentation of the 4 Command Sergeant Major Virgil R. Williams Scholarship sponsored by USAA. Unfortunately, none of the recipients are able to attend this evening, so a representative from each recipient state will be accepting on their behalf. The scholarships are awarded to Bailey Danton, dependent of Master Sergeant Bernard Danton from Louisiana; Megan Davis, dependent of Senior Master Sergeant Todd Davis from Wyoming; Nathan Janing, dependent of Master Sergeant Lester Janing from South Dakota; and Senior Airman Victoria Mook from Virginia. Thank you to USAA and Chief Smith for your continued support of EANGUS. Now I would like to invite Command Sergeant Major Retired Frank Glaver, who is presenting on behalf of the Armed Forces Benefits Association, to join President Craig on the stage. Unfortunately, none of the recipients were able to attend this evening, so accepting on their behalf is a representative from their state. The Command Sergeant Major Virgil R. Williams Scholarship sponsored by AFBA are awarded to Dana Summers, spouse of Sergeant Major James Summers from West Virginia, and Leah Sutherland, dependent of Master Sergeant Bruce Sutherland from Georgia. Thank you to AFBA and their continued support of EANGUS. Next, we will be recognizing the recipients of the Patriot Scholarships. These scholarships are made possible by individual donations. First, we would like to recognize the donors who gave $1,000 or more to this year's Patriot Scholarships program. Would Robert Bourne, who donated $1,500, and Frank and Nori Yoakum, who donated $1,000, please come to the stage. In addition, there was a donation of $2,500 from the estate of Harvey Goldstein. Thank you. Unfortunately, none of the recipients were able to attend this evening, so accepting on their behalf is a representative from their state. The Patriot Scholarships are awarded to Senior Airman Nathan Fish from Connecticut, Kristen Martin, dependent of Sergeant First Class Bobby Martin of Arkansas, Senior Airman Trevor Sick from South Dakota, Dylan Singleton, dependent of Tech Sergeant John Singleton from Tennessee, and Julia Sukup, dependent of Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Sukup from South Dakota. Once again, thank you for the generous donations and making these scholarships happen, and congratulations to the recipients. The next scholarship is provided by the Command Sergeant Major Advisory Council. Will Command Sergeant Major Jim Gordon please come to the stage to say a few words? Unless you don't want to.
Real quick, the Command Sergeant Major Advisory Council represents the Army National Guard and the Command Sergeant Major Sampa, and on behalf of the Advisory Council, we always give out a scholarship. This year is to an Army person, which is good because the last 2 years has been to an Air Guard, which is good with us, but we're glad it's an Army person here, so thank you.
Once again, thank you for being here. The Command Sergeant Major Advisory Council Scholarship is awarded to Sergeant Jake Hurley from Iowa. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend this evening, so a representative from his state is accepting on his behalf. Thank you, Command Sergeant Major Gordon and the Command Sergeant Major Advisory Council for your continued support of the organization. Next up are the scholarships provided by individual educational institutions. These full tuition scholarships are an incredible opportunity for our members and families to attend school with little financial obligation. We are very fortunate and grateful for the scholarships provided by American Intercontinental University, American Public University System, Colorado Technical University, Grand Canyon University, Grantham University, and the University of Phoenix. With that, I would like to invite Mr. Trent Orndorff from American Intercontinental University to say a few words.
I'll make it a few. Say thank you very much again. We give 6 full scholarships every single year. We're planning on continuing it. We appreciate all that you do, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orndorff. Please join President Craig for the presentation of the 3 American Intercontinental University scholarships. The first scholarship is awarded to Jody Stenberg, spouse of Sergeant First Class Mark Stenberg from North Dakota. Unfortunately, she is unable to attend this evening, so a representative from her state association will be accepting on her behalf. You want me to just keep? Okay. The second American Intercontinental University Scholarship is awarded to Senior Airman Isaac McMillan from Hawaii. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend this evening, so a representative from his state association will be accepting on his behalf. The third American Intercontinental University Scholarship is awarded to Sergeant First Class retired Sharon Roberts from Utah, and she is in attendance this evening. You have some fans. All right. Thank you, Mr. Orndorff and American Intercontinental University for your partnership and continued support of the organization and its members. Next is the presentation of the American Public University System scholarships. Unfortunately, the university is unable to attend here tonight to present, but asks that I pass on how honored they are to be partners with ANGUS and how proud they are to be of the scholarship recipients. The first American Public University System scholarship is awarded to Staff Sergeant Mackenzie Vincent from Montana, who unfortunately is unable to attend this evening. The next American Public University System scholarship is awarded to Staff Sergeant Mariah Moody from New Mexico, and Mariah is present to accept her scholarship. All right, thanks to American Public University System for their partnership and continued support of the organization and its members. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Michael Madera from Colorado Technical University to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Hello, Ingus family. I just want to say it's a great honor to be part of this organization for the second year in a row to award scholarships and be a corporate partner. I didn't think last year's conference could, when I attended for the first time, would be any better, this one, but this is just amazing. What a family. I want to give you all a round of applause. You made me feel really welcome, so thank you. And we look forward to the future partnership with Ingus and supporting these scholarships, so thank you all, and look forward to next year in Little Rock. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Madura. Please join President Craig for the presentation of the 2 Colorado Technical University scholarships. The first scholarship is awarded to Master Sergeant Edward Schmidt from Wisconsin, who is in attendance today. The second Colorado Technical University scholarship is awarded to Chief Master Sergeant retired Richie Stiller from North Carolina. And unfortunately, he is unable to attend this evening. Thank you, Mr. Madura and Colorado Technical University for your partnership and continued support of the organization and its members. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Smith from Grand Canyon University to say a few words.
Thank you. Yeah, good evening, everybody. I can't believe it's already been a year has gone by, and we're doing this again. And we're so excited to be able to do it. I think it's our 4th year that we're able to do these 2 scholarships. And it's great seeing people get that scholarship, get their degree, and move on. We've had some great success stories from the group, and you're a fun group to hang out with, by the way. You're always really warm and welcoming. We have a great time hanging out with you, and so we're glad to keep doing this. Like I say, we thought it was a great event. It was a great exhibit as far as vendors go, so we thank you for that as well. Makes us want to come back and continue to support you as well as we do. So thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And now for the presentation of the 2 Grand Canyon University scholarships. The first scholarship is awarded to Specialist Joshua Allen from Arizona. The second Grand Canyon University scholarship is awarded to Amanda Brown Harvey, spouse of Sergeant Jeremiah Harvey from Oklahoma. Unfortunately, she is unable to attend this evening. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith and Grand Canyon University, for your partnership and continued support of the organization and its members. Next, I would like to invite Mr. George Colon from Grantham University to say a few words.
Hey, it's an honor to be here tonight. It's just so hard to believe that Grantham has been doing this for 9 years. And next year is the 10th year, so we'll see what it brings. Anything special?
No, something special.
Oh, something special? Well, you know what? We have been thinking about what can we do for something special for actually next year. And, of course, I did a little research on what people get for their anniversary. And I'm going to be honest with you, I learned this stuff today, and had I had known that when you're married for 10 years, that I am to give something to my wife that's a tin or aluminum, I probably would have gave her a 6-pack of beer. So I'm just saying, you know. So thank you for having us out here, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Please join President Craig for the presentation of 2 Grantham University scholarships. The first scholarship is awarded to Tech Sergeant Bradley Smith from Wyoming. He is unable to attend this evening, so a representative from his state will step on his behalf. The second Grantham University Scholarship is awarded to Camelia Walton, spouse of Master Sergeant Zachary Walton from Utah. Camelia is in attendance today. Thank you, Mr. Clone and Grantham University, for your partnership and continued support of Angus and its members. Finally, I would like to invite Mr. Brian Ishmael from University of Phoenix to say a few words.
Good evening. So University of Phoenix has been participating in the Angus Scholarship Program for many years now. We're happy to announce that this year, as the past 3 years or so, we have awarded 3 full tuition scholarships. The winners of these scholarships are able to select either undergraduate programs, bachelor's programs, or graduate programs. And it's also open for our spouses as well. And so I'm happy to announce that this year we have 2 spouses, and all 3 of our awardees this year have selected graduate programs. So happy for that. Round of applause. Also, I just wanted to, on behalf of the University of Phoenix, just say thank you to you and your families for the sacrifices you make for our country. We're always indebted to you and appreciate you, so thank you.
Thank you. The first University of Phoenix Scholarship is awarded to Sergeant First Class Ethan Dodd from Nebraska, and he is present this evening. The second University of Phoenix Scholarship is awarded to Corrine Hash, spouse of Staff Sergeant Scott Hash from South Carolina. The third University of Phoenix Scholarship is awarded to Kimberly Rothenberg, spouse of Master Sergeant Scott Rothenberg from Nevada. Thank you, Mr. Ishmael and the University of Phoenix for your partnership and continued support of Angus and its members. As the scholarship program comes to an end for 2019, I would like to give special thanks to not only those who sponsored, donated, and provided such amazing scholarship opportunities to our members and families, but I'd also like to thank the state associations for their support, as well as the team that helped the scholarship committee make this year's program happen. I now turn the podium over to Senior Master Sergeant Celia Alosi for the Angus Awards presentation.
Good evening. I would like to invite our Auxiliary President, Angela Kennebeck, to please come forward and join President Karen Craig to present the Auxiliary Awards. At this time, we will present the Meritorious Service Award. Will Mr. Richard Bryant from New Mexico please come forward to accept your award? He is receiving this award for contributions, achievements, support, and service to the ANGUS Auxiliary. Our next award is the Spouse of the Year Award. Will Mr. Dean Kennebeck from Iowa please come forward? This award is presented to a spouse of an auxiliary member for their exceptional support of their auxiliary spouse, which is President Angela Kennebeck. Thank you, President Kennebeck. This evening, we are honored to have Ms. Erin Kane joining us from the Schneider Trucking Company. She'll be making this presentation along with President Craig. Will you please come forward? The 2019 annual Al Schneider Memorial Award is presented to RE/MAX Military City. Accepting on behalf of RE/MAX Military City is Mr. Jason Brooks, accompanied by Sergeant Richard Pacheco, who submitted their company for this prestigious award. Will you please both come forward? Thank you, gentlemen. The Heritage Award is an award to recognize a corporate sponsor for outstanding contributions to ANGUS. We are honored to present this year's Heritage Award to Humana Military. Will Mr. Brent Densford please come forward to accept this award? Thank you, Mr. Densford. This year is unique in that we will be presenting a second Heritage Award to Schneider National. Will Ms. Erin Kane please come forward to accept this award? President Craig will now present the Heritage Award to Schneider National. We also have a special presentation and would like to present a framed limited edition enlisted Guardians print to Schneider Trucking in recognition of their 30 years as an Angus Platinum Partner. At this time, we'd like to present the Angus Patriotism Award. Will Mr. James Pitchford please come forward? This award is being given for his courageous and meritorious service in championing the issue of toxic exposure, rare cancers, and burn pit lethal effects in the defense community. Mr. Pitchford is bringing awareness and solutions to mitigate risk on future combat operations. He has tirelessly engaged Defense Department, Veterans Affairs, and congressional leaders, sharing stories of service members who are suffering and survivors who endured the effects of such exposure. Angus recognizes Mr. James Pitchford as a true patriot and great American.
I hope you don't mind, but I wanted to say a few words because it's very fortuitous that you're here. You are all leaders back in your communities. You're leaders in the National Guard. And my work is not done. It's only just beginning. And I'm going to need your help. Our corporate sponsors are going to need your help. So I just want to talk to a few minutes about what I'm facing, what our country is facing. First, I want to thank Frank Yoakum, who I've known for over 20 years. I want to thank Daniel Elkins and Scott Bosom, who've been very helpful, and your organization in Washington, D.C., who's always had an open door and has always been willing to listen, new ideas. I just have a few notes, and I don't want to miss anything because this is really important. But I also want to recognize you, and the reason I can do that is I served in the National Guard. I served in Wisconsin. I was at Volk Field, an Air National Guard field training site. I served on active duty. I also served in the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps taught me to lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. The National Guard taught me it was one family. And then I ended up in the Navy. I'm still trying to figure out what the Navy taught me, but and I say that jokingly because I'm at a table with a fellow sailor. He's going to shoot me after this, but I'm a purple suitor, and I realized because I put these different uniforms on that we all have a mission, but every mission is absolutely vital. So I served in those three components, and then I ended up in the U.S. Senate, and I ended up working for Senator Kit Bond. Now, some of you that haven't been in the Guard very long might not know who he was, but he was a governor, and in 1988 with Governor Chris Ford from Kentucky, who was a Democratic, Senator Kit was a Republican, they formed the National Guard Caucus. Two governors who understood the value of the National Guard, not only to the states, but to the country, and they started the National Guard Caucus. When I left the Senate in 2008, we had 91 members, almost 100. And I also had the honor of working with Daniel Ginsburg, with Senator Leahy, for over 6 years. And what I loved about the Guard was it bipartisan, it was nonpartisan. It was about helping the country and our communities. So I show up in the Senate in 1999. Well, in 2001, we had 9/11. It changed all of our lives. And so I didn't have a front row seat. The front row seat were all those troops that served in Iraq and Afghanistan. But I was there on 9/11. When I drove to work that morning, the Pentagon was intact. When I came home that night, it was burning and burned for over a month. We had to evacuate the Senate Russell building. All the buildings were evacuated because we thought it might be under attack, and most security experts say the plane that went into Pennsylvania was destined for the Capitol. But I knew our lives were going to change after the attacks of 9/11, and they certainly did, and nothing stopped. So I'm watching thin-skinned vehicles. Remember that? And then we had to get up armored. Remember when troops had to buy their own body armor? I was experiencing all that from the Senate and working with the National Guard. I remember when we like to say that the National Guard comprised over 50% of the combat force. That's significant. Pivotal time, I happened to be in the Senate at pivotal time, and I kept my ears open, my eyes open. I learned a lot. And those are things I also want to share with you. So we go into Afghanistan, we go into Iraq. The body count started going up, but there were a lot more injuries that we didn't see. And because of my efforts, I became very much aware of some of these hidden injuries that can be just as lethal. So when I left the Senate, I got involved in some other things, but last year, as a favor to a friend, I took a brief, and it was someone that was involved in burn pits, and I'm looking at these pictures. They're showing pictures of people in burn pits, and of course, when I worked for Senator Bond, not only was he a senior appropriator, so we were involved in appropriations to get the troops the things they needed, but he was also the ranking member of the veterans, the committee that funded the VA, so I was very much aware of veterans issues. So I'm looking at these pictures of these troops in burn pits, dark, thick smoke, and I'm like, that can't be any good. So I made a commitment when I got back to Washington. I was going to call up some of my friends in the veterans advocacy community, and the first person I called was Bonnie Carroll. Bonnie Carroll founded the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. And she founded it when her husband, who was a National Guardsman, flew into a mountain in Alaska in 1994. And she took his death benefit, and she started the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. She's so effective at what she does that President Obama recognized her in 2015 with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. At that same award ceremony was Spielberg and Streisand. So it gives you an idea of the kind of company she kept. So I get back to Washington, and I call her up, and I said, Bonnie, I'm looking at all these pictures of these people in burn pits. It doesn't look good. And she said, Pitch, we've been asked by Wounded Warrior Project, Vietnam Veterans of America, to take the lead for families. So I came to Washington. I met her. I said, I'll help you. So I'm a volunteer for the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. You know what happens when you volunteer, right? We all learned that lesson. So I started getting more involved, and one of the first things, someone sent me a review of the book by Joseph Hickman, The Burn Pits, The Poisoning of America's Soldiers. If you haven't read it, I urge you to read that. So I called up Joseph Hickman. He happens to live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we had a long talk. In fact, at the end of our talk, he said, I'm going to Milwaukee. I'm going to go sit by a soldier who's dying of toxic exposure from burn pits. And he said that he's getting inundated with calls. So this was back in September. I start getting involved. Then I get invited to participate at Wounded Warrior Project. It's called TEAM. It's Toxic Exposure in the American Military. And at those meetings, we have Vietnam Veterans of America, Tragedy Assistance Program Survivors, and another organization which I just love. It's called Veteran Warriors, and they asked me to take the lead from them legislatively. And this is another quick story, but it won't take long. Lauren Price was a mature 39-year-old. 9/11 happened. She had spent her whole career in the federal justice system as a reporter. Like a lot of people we know in the Guard after 9/11, they said, I want to get involved. I want to go defend my country overseas. She did the same thing. She ends up over in Iraq as a Navy yeoman. And the captain in charge of personnel in this particular part of Iraq says, I need somebody to manage my convoy teams. These were sailors that were being volunteered to drive trucks. So Lauren Price, as a yeoman, is managing convoy teams that are being driven by sailors. Little does she know, she ends up getting in the truck. She's not just going to work behind a desk. This is the person she was. She was very athletic. She was a gymnast. She does this for a year. She also ends up spending a lot of time in burns pits. She comes back. She starts having breathing problems. She has to fight to get, from the VA, to get a pulmonologist to do a biopsy of her lungs. She has to fight for that. And they look at her lungs and they say it looks like a moonscape. They gave her 10 to 15 years to live. She's been around 10 years. I have so much admiration for her. So she's carrying the fight. I said, Lauren, why did you do this? Because she said, our veterans and our troops need help, and I'm not going to give up helping them. And the motto of our organization, Veteran Warriors, is one family, one fight. And that's kind of the theme of what I want to say is, it is one family, it is one fight. And that fight is, whether we're overseas or we're in a foxhole, we're all together in that. And when we come home, we have to take care of our veterans and our troops, by the way. It's still one family, one fight. So I get involved with these organizations, and one thing to remember, there are over 4 million troops that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. And most of those 4 million people have been exposed to burn pits. Joseph Hickman writes about it, which is why I urge you to read it. There are over 230 burn pits. There's lots of evidence that shows that they're lethal. And you would think that when we know that these burn pits are lethal, we would shut them down. No, we don't. We still have at least 9 burn pits overseas in Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And there are more, but the DOD is reluctant to talk about them. So what they're doing is they're shipping our garbage off base and letting locals manage those burn pits. But troops are still around them. And then what are we doing to those locals? They've killed our troops, and now we're going to kill off a few more that host nation civilians. But it's not a good situation. So I'm getting this information, and one of the things I was talking to some of my table mates is intel is absolutely pivotal, and I'm going to more units and talking to more people, and now I'm starting getting information about burn pits overseas. And I have one story to tell you. This is the example of some things that are going on. A family knows that burn pits are not good, and they go to the senior leadership and say, we want to get, it wasn't a family, it was an individual, but he wants to get moved off base. No, they won't move him off base. So he's stuck there, and he's around a burn pit. One of my good friends, I helped recruit him to the Navy intelligence program in 1999. His name's John Rothrock. He happens to be a legislative affairs person for the Reserve Officers Association. He's an intel specialist. He ends up getting a year unaccompanied tour to Afghanistan in 2016. He comes back a year later, now he has breathing problems. He was totally healthy before he went over there. One of your fellow Army soldiers here tonight heard me talk last year about this. He came up to me and said he had deployed not that long ago. He came back, and now he gets a cough, a persistent cough. It won't go away. The other problem is that our doctors, even our military doctors who know that we've been around burn pits, they don't always know what to look for. I took 2 widows whose husbands are dead. One's from Oklahoma, one's from Texas. I took them to see Congressman Ruiz. He's an ER doctor from California, a member of Congress. His senior staff are on healthcare issues. I took these widows there because I wanted Ruiz's staff, he gets involved in toxic issues, to understand that when doctors do a poor job of evaluating and someone doesn't get adequately diagnosed, this was 2 examples, they went over a year, and then they finally discovered that they had a really serious problem. They only had a couple of months to live. They didn't last very long. But that's happening more and more. So, so that's a big issue, and it's a tsunami. It's going to be much bigger than Agent Orange, much bigger than Agent Orange, and the problem is it's a lethal killer. So you can come back, and you might be right back, and all of a sudden you have a breathing problem. You can't run a mile, and you know you have an issue. But it's happening to people that have been back for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, and all of a sudden they have a rare cancer. And, well, why am I having that? Well, maybe it's just because I'm 45 years old, but these are rare cancers. Bonnie Carroll at the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, what they found is because when you're a widow or widower and you go to TAPS, your loved one's already dead, but they want information as to, well, what happened? And a lot of what they found was the body counts were going up, and a lot of these are associated with rare cancers, rare brain cancers. Even Beau Biden, Senator Biden, Vice President Biden's son, most people will acknowledge that he was probably died as a result of burn pits. So I know I've got to get going. So all I want to say is this. You're the most powerful organization in America because every guardsman that has served comes from some county in the United States. And I've been talking to presidential schedulers. We want to have a town hall. And when I tell them that if you speak about burn pits issues, you're going to be talking to, if you're especially talking about guardsmen, you're going to be talking to members from every county in the United States. This is a group you want to talk to. So I'm here available for Daniel, Scott, for Frank, your organization. I'll help you wherever I can. I'll help get your state officials connected. It's one family, it's one fight. And if I'll come back next year, let's talk about what we've been able to accomplish, and hopefully we'll get a lot done. God bless every one of you. I hope you get home safe. I hope we have a successful year. All right? Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Oh, no,
it.
thank you
Yeah.
for coming. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Mr. Pitchford. We have a second Patriotism Award to present tonight. Will you cue video, please? That might be the wrong video. Can you cue the other video?
You don't need to.
When I lost my legs in combat, I thought that part of
Let's not worry about it. Let's not worry about it.
I grew up walking in the woods. It's where I was happy. When I lost my legs in combat, I thought that part of my life was gone forever. But the Independence Fund gave that back. They gave me normal back. Now I've got a daughter who loves walking in the woods with me. And there's nowhere I'd rather be.
Be a hero for a hero. Learn more at independencefund.org.
So I have 64 PowerPoint slides that I'm going to present to you all tonight. No, really. I will make this quick. I'm Bob Carey at the Independence Fund. Thank you very much, the Enlisted Association of the National Guard of the United States, for this award. We're very appreciative of it. The Independence Fund serves troops like you. If you know someone that is catastrophically disabled, any era, any service, that needs something like a chair like that, adaptive sports, caregiver support, please contact us. We also have a new program. We're looking for a National Guard unit, company battalion size that experienced heavy combat and is now experiencing high suicide rates post-deployment that we can try to put, and we're putting together these suicide unit retreats, suicide prevention unit retreats, and bring them together for 4 days and basically try to reestablish those bonds that they had downrange and now use that for suicide prevention. I'd say go to the independencefund.org website, but I just made a new Gmail account, which you'll probably be able to remember a lot easier, awesomedinnerjacket@gmail.com. I'm not kidding you. I just made that up. awesomedinnerjacket@gmail.com. If any of you have any veterans or any guardsmen or spouses or caregivers that need support like this, please feel free to contact us. Thank you very much.
Allow me to introduce retired Navy Captain Robert Carey. EANGUS is pleased to recognize his outstanding and meritorious service to our severely wounded veterans who are in desperate need of independence and mobility. EANGUS bestows the Patriotism Award to Mr. Carey for his work at the Independence Fund, improving the lives of hundreds of wounded men and women in military service to America. He ensures their voices are heard and their mobility is limitless as they return their lives to independent maneuverability. Mr. Carey finds the resources that improves and enhances the lives of wounded warriors and their caregivers. EANGUS recognizes this commitment with this award. Thank you. At this time, we would like to present the Meritorious Service Award. Will Staff Sergeant Jolene Howell from Utah please come forward? She is receiving this award for outstanding meritorious service while serving EANGUS, Utah chapter, from January 2012 to May 2019. Jolene Howell consistently provided leadership and critical support to EANGUT for the past 7 years despite a significant operations tempo in her capacity as a Guard member of the Utah Army National Guard and as an AGR recruiter. Her leadership has spanned numerous committees to include the Legislative, junior enlisted, and membership committees, and service as an at-large director for the Army National Guard. She has attended and represented INGUT in the EANGUS National Conference. Jolene Howell's outstanding leadership, commendable initiative, and total dedication to duty reflects great credit upon herself and are in keeping with the highest traditions of INGUS, the Enlisted Association of the National Guard, Utah, and the United States of America. Thank you, Sergeant Howell. This evening, we have a second Meritorious Service Award recipient. Will Master Sergeant Tyson Mayfield from Utah please come forward? He is receiving this award for outstanding meritorious service while serving with the INGUS Utah chapter from January 2014 to May 2019. Master Sergeant Mayfield consistently provided leadership and critical support to INGUT for the past 5 years despite a significant operations tempo in his capacity as a Utah Air National Guard member, to include an 8-month deployment, as well as his service as an AGR Security Forces Flight Chief and Unit Career Advisor. His leadership supported both the legislative and membership committees and included serving as an at-large director for the Air National Guard. He has impacted INGUT participation in the INGUS National Conference for 4 of the 5 years by his direct involvement. He has volunteered at numerous key INGUT events such as Governor's Day membership drives and Utah's annual Military Intelligence Ball. He has also briefed INGUS to hundreds of airmen across numerous commanders' call briefings. Master Sergeant Mayfield's outstanding leadership, commendable initiative, and total dedication to duty reflects great credit upon himself and in his keeping with the highest traditions of the Enlisted Association of the National Guard, Utah, the Enlisted Association of the National Guard of the United States, and the United States of America. Thank you, Sergeant Mayfield. INGUS is pleased to present the Distinguished Service Award to Chief Master Sergeant Retired Ethan T. Toyama from Hawaii. Will you please come forward? He exhibited distinguished service in the performance of his duties as Chairman, Area 7, Enlisted Association National Guard of the United States, and President, Hawaii National Guard Enlisted Association, from 1 January 2006 to 14 August 2019. As Area 7 Chair, Chief Toyama was instrumental in developing and implementing Enlisted Association National Guard of the United States membership and legislative policy that resulted in increased membership by Area 7 states of Alaska, California, Guam, Hawaii, Oregon, and Washington. He successfully led coordination efforts to ensure enlisted association programs and benefits were utilized to its fullest extent, to include the INGUS Legislative Call to Action, Annual Scholarship Program, We Care for America Foundation, and Corporate Partnership Program. Skilled and competent at parliamentary procedures, he chaired the Committee on Bylaws and Enlisted Association National Guard of the United States, ushering in wide-ranging bylaws amendments throughout the years, improving the overall administration of policy and guidelines for the association. As 3-term president of the Hawaii National Guard Enlisted Association from 2006 to 2012, Chief Toyama diligently led Hawaii National Guard Enlisted Association in record membership increases, as well as state legislative accomplishments, which included the coveted vehicle registration weight tax exemption, saving hundreds of dollars annually for over 4,600 Hawaii National Guard enlisted soldiers and airmen. Through his vision and mentorship, the Hawaii National Guard Enlisted Association continues to increase and sustain its dues paying membership, ranking 11th overall in membership levels between all INGUS states, territories, and the District of Columbia. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Chief Toyama reflect great credit upon himself, the Hawaii National Guard, the Enlisted Association National Guard of the United States. Thank you, Chief Toyama. We are pleased to award the INGUS Humanitarian Award to Master Sergeant Scott Krim from the state of Oklahoma for outstanding humanitarianism by saving a baby's life during the service member's lunch. Will First Sergeant Paul Tate please come forward to accept on his behalf? A group of airmen from the 137th Special Operations Wing, Will Rogers Air National Guard Base, Oklahoma City, were eating their lunch at a nearby Cece's Pizza restaurant when chaos ensued just before noon on January 31st, 2019. A mother was holding a baby, less than 2 years old, and not breathing. Krim recalled, "You could definitely tell that the baby was lifeless and just lying there. Understandably, the mother was panicked and didn't know what to do. While in the car, the baby had stopped breathing in her car seat, and the mother stopped at the nearest establishment for help. Krim took the baby from her mother and held her face down over his knee, patting her back to try to clear her airway. When that was unsuccessful, Krim began to perform the Heimlich maneuver, or stomach thrusts. Krim and the other airmen stayed with the baby and her shaken family until emergency personnel arrived. They were then transported by ambulance to Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City. According to a police report, all of the baby's vitals were stable and her oxygen levels were normal prior to leaving the restaurant. Through Krim said his actions were based on instinct. He also said he couldn't have done it without his wingman, Tech Sergeant Jacob Hanchett, a 205th Engineering and Installation Squadron Heavy Mobile Equipment mechanic. "He was the voice in my ear the entire time," said Krim of Hanchett. According to the police report, it was obvious that the actions of Krim contributed to the victim's well-being and recovery from her oxygen-deprived state. We are awarding the EANGUS Heroism Award to Staff Sergeant Gregory Lum Ho for extraordinary heroism and selfless service displayed while saving the lives of multiple citizens during the Hurricane Lane island of Hawaii. Staff Sergeant Gregory Lum Ho, will you please come forward? Staff Sergeant Ho, a soldier of the Hawaii Army National Guard, earned high honors for a daring rescue. On 11 February 2019, he was honored with the prestigious state award. Hawaii's Governor David Ige presented the State Medal of Valor to Staff Sergeant Gregory Lum Ho, Jr. The state honor is awarded to someone who stands out for a heroic act or self-sacrifice above and beyond the call of duty. And Staff Sergeant Lum Ho did just that. He was recognized for his life-saving efforts during Hurricane Lane last year. During the severe weather, he used his security patrol's Humvee to ferry Hawaii County firefighters across hip-high flood waters to get to a stranded family of 6 and their pet. They were all rescued safely. Governor Ige stated, "I think it's safe to say that it's the first time in history that a National Guard unit went from supporting a county dealing with lava to now supporting a county with a hurricane bearing down on them. It's truly incredible." Staff Sergeant Lum Ho accepted the award and did so on behalf of his fellow servicemen. Governor Ige added, "The unit was in Task Force Hawaii, switched priorities. They went from lava support to hurricane support. I know that in the military, changes are inevitable, but I'm not sure how many times a change that drastic has occurred." Our final award for the evening is the Minuteman Award. Our recipient is Command Sergeant Major Retired James Rains. Would you please come forward? Command Sergeant Major Retired James Rains is awarded the EANGUS Minuteman Award for his distinguished service to EANGUS Area 3 and the Florida Enlisted Association over the last 25 years. Command Sergeant Major Retired Rains has served in numerous positions of responsibility with EANGUS, most recently serving as the EANGUS parliamentarian for the last 10 years. In this role, he acted as a special staff officer and advisor to 4 EANGUS presidents and the Executive Council. As an expert in parliamentary procedures, he provided expert opinions on matters concerning Robert's Rules of Order, the EANGUS bylaws, and other standing rules. Prior to his selection as the EANGUS parliamentarian, Command Sergeant Major retired Raines also served as an Area 3 director from 1994 to 1998, and as the chair of Area 3 from 1998 to 2002, and again from 2004 to 2010, directing activities of the 7 states in that area. During that time, he simultaneously served on the EANGUS Finance Committee as well as the EANGUS We Care for America Foundation, and was a voting member reviewing applications for financial assistance from the WCFA Emergency Relief Fund. Command Sergeant Major Raines also served as the chair of the Legislative Committee for several years, attending the EANGUS legislative workshops each year and advocating for the issues important to the National Guard members of EANGUS. Command Sergeant Major retired Raines started as a member of the Florida Enlisted Association, where he held many elected positions over the years. In recognition of his extraordinary efforts, dedication, and passion for National Guard soldiers, airmen, and their families over the last 25 years, the EANGUS Minuteman Award is awarded to Command Sergeant retired James Raines. Thank you, Sergeant Major Raines. I'd now like to call forward Executive Director, Sergeant Major retired Frank Yoakum, to make a special presentation.
Good evening. Earlier this year, your national office staff was sitting around our offices in Washington, D.C., thinking about how we can increase membership in our association. We thought out loud, how can we do something different, something we've never done to increase membership on a national scale? What motivates someone to join EANGUS? What motivator should be used to turn the figures around and actually increase membership and not continue our slow decrease? So we came up with an idea. On Valentine's Day, February 14th of this year, we began a membership challenge. Unlike previous years, we would actually pay our state associations and a lucky individual cold, hard cash to get members. And everybody likes cash, amen? $5,000 to the state association with the highest percentage of change in membership. $2,500 to the second place state association, $1,000 to the third place association, and $1,000 to the top individual recruiter who signed up the most members. We ran the campaign from Valentine's Day until Independence Day, July 4th. Brother Brian over here, Brian Birch, he tallied up the numbers on February 13th to get a baseline, and Brian tallied up the totals on July 5th to determine the winners. We had almost 3,500 new members who joined EANGUS who had never before been members of this association during that time frame. Tonight, we have the reveal, the top states and the top individual who will receive right here on this very stage, cold hard cash. But before we hand out the cash, I'd like to invite our president, Karen Craig, and our membership committee members, Jonathan Wilson and Mark Cusimano. Would you please join us up on stage? Come on, let's go. Okay, while they're coming, I took the liberty to add a small twist to the competition that nobody knows about. except me. Hope you don't mind. So let's start with the states. State category. For the 2019 Membership Challenge, we came up with a little twist to this. We've got an honorable mention prize that you don't know about, $500. An honorable mention state competition goes to the great state of New Mexico. Come on down. You won't be able to take that check to the bank. But Karen's got a check you can take to the bank. Let's hear it for New Mexico. Gonna have fun with this one. For the 2019 Membership Challenge State Association category, the third place prize of $1,000 goes to the great state of Alabama. It really is. I know we don't have it. And I'm going to do a mea culpa. We did have a sign put together for them, but there was a misspelling on the sign, so they're just going to get the cash. I wonder which one they'd rather have. For the 2019 Membership Challenge State Association category, second place prize of $2,500 goes to the great state of Sweet Pig, Arkansas. Take the money, man. Take the money. Take the money. Take the money. For the 2019 Membership Challenge State Association category, first place prize of $5,000. Mississippi. Take your time, soak it in. It's good. We got all night.
Soaking it all in.
That's right. So we had another category, right? Individual. And remember I told you we had a second honorable mention prize. So the honorable mention prize for the individual, second place individual if you will, goes to Sergeant First Class Greg New of Arkansas. You don't look like Greg New. He's never going to get his money. There's a $500 donation to the Derek Young Retirement Fund. And I'm absolutely thrilled to announce to you for the 2019 Membership Challenge, individual winner of $1,000. Let me check my notes. Ms. Nancy Waller of Alabama. Listen. Look, I said when the centerpieces could be given away. I did not intend for the little brown bags as part. That's not part of the centerpiece. They have stickers on them that says this is to be opened later. But you've all opened them, so let's hear it. All right. All right. It's a special soundtrack to a nightmare. That's coming later, so keep them available. That's coming up. What I'd like to do is bring the chairperson of the 2020 EANGUS National Conference up here. I'd like to welcome First Sergeant Derek Young of Arkansas to the stage with his lovely wife, Tracy Young.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for supporting the 2020 Big Dam EANGUS Conference in Little Rock, Arkansas by purchasing a raffle ticket. Now it's the moment that we've all been waiting for, and what we're going to do is 3 giveaways tonight for a 5-night stay during the conference. So with no further ado, we're going to get started.
Okay, the first drawing is for anyone who wins. You'll be from areas 1, 5, 6, or 7. And the property is the McCobbin Hotel properties, and one of the hotels will be Hampton Inn, Courtyard by Marriott, Residence Inn, or Homewood Suites.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, Jesus. My gosh.
Can you read it?
I'm hoping that's Richard Williams, Area 6. Is that right? Rachel. Rachel Williams, Area 6. Woo, 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 woo! Thank you.
Is she here?
I think so. She's coming.
There she comes, yes.
All right. All right.
Yes, we talked you into it, didn't we? Yes.
Okay. The next winner will come from areas 2 or 3, and the winner will be staying in the DoubleTree.
Drum roll, please.
Brittany Lowry, Area 2. The last winner will be from Area 4 and will be staying in the host hotel, the Marriott. Tony DeJesus. Oh, his representative. Thanks again to everyone. We'll see you in Little Rock.
One second.
Oh, sorry.
I know there are a lot of you in this room tonight who know who Tony DeJesus is and what he does for this association, and I guarantee you he will not use this. This will go to a young Area 4 person or a young Kansas person to come to the conference for their first time, so rest assured that's what it's going to get used for. Yes, thank you. We have found a beret back in the back, and so if you're missing a beret, sure, someone is, and it's the unit crest is "Thus Ever to Tyrants," which I don't know who that belongs to, but it's size 6 7/8. So if that could possibly be you, probably a flag person maybe from earlier today, You're walking around without a head cover earlier this afternoon, probably. This is up here as well with the Iowa Cubs tickets. I'd like to bring the EANGUS Auxiliary President, Angela Kennebeck, back up here, because there's a little drawing that I have tickets to as well.
All right. Anybody who bought a blue ticket from me, go ahead and get them out. Now we all know Santa Claus brings us gifts. So reach in there and pull out a winner of 15 bottles of alcohol. All right. The winner of our ladder of alcohol, ticket 138071. One 38071. And you know it had to be Jerry Hansen because he always wins. Every year. All right. Thank you, everyone.
I knew it. Why even do that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. But at this time, we have a special guest and a special treat for you. And we would like to close the banquet with the singing of the song, I Guard America, sung by James Rogers. James Rogers is an entertainer, a singer, songwriter, musician. And since 1972, James' unique talent has been enjoyed by audiences from Bern, Switzerland to Beijing, China. He has performed at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee, and at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, and a lot of places in between. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James Rogers.
Thank you so much. Before I sing the song, I don't get this opportunity enough. I want to thank all of you National Guard out there that adopted my song all those years ago. I wrote this song back in before the first Gulf War, back in '88, at the request of some fellow guardsmen to maybe be used in recruiting films or training films, and I said I would try to write a song, and if it was any good, it was yours. I'd give it to you. I was a guardsman, and anyway, the response to it has been the greatest feeling in my life. Of all of the things that I've done well, I'm still performing some, but I'm retired. And it's been the greatest honor to represent you and to have a song that you have told me has inspired you. I wrote it from the heart, and I don't know how many more times I'll be able to sing it. And so when I don't, I hope there will be somebody out there that will pick up the torch and keep singing this song, because this song is not my song. This song is your song. I wrote it for you and about you. And just God bless you, and thanks for the phone call, Dean, to get to come here to perform this song for you. It's called I Guard America. Jeremy, you can roll that video now. I was a Minuteman on Concord Bridge, and a shot heard around the world. And I was there on Bunker Hill when Old Glory was unfurled. And if my country calls me from within or from afar, I'll be there to answer. I'm proud to be the guard, defending freedom, protecting dreams. That is the spirit, that's what it means to me. For my God and my home that I love, I guard America. And in the eye of an enemy or in the eye of a storm, we face the dangers as they come, any shape and form. I am your sons, your friends, your fathers, and I'm your daughters, working hard to be the best and to keep us strong, proud to be the guard, defending freedom, protecting dreams. That is the spirit, that's what it means to me. For my God and my home that I love, I guard America, defending freedom, protecting dreams. That is the spirit, that's what it means to me. For my God and my home that I love, I guard America, guarding America, America. Much. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, James. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the benediction by Staff Sergeant Retired Stephen Berry.
We could bow our heads for just a moment. Heavenly Father, as we bring this evening to a close, we thank you for our meal, for friendship and fellowship, and for your blessings. We ask you to watch over us. Protect us, Lord, as we stay awake. Watch over us as we sleep, that awake we may keep watch with Christ, and asleep rest in his peace. We ask these things in Jesus' most holy name. Amen.
At this time, I'd like to call President Craig back up to the stage for the final remarks. She says you can all take a seat.
Okay, I won't be long, but you don't need to stand. So, all right. So it's been a great week. We're coming to a conclusion, and like I said, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of friendship, a lot of network going on this week, and a lot of doing the business of EANGUS, which is to take care and work for the soldiers and airmen across the nation that protect our nation. So I want to thank just a few people again. Thank the City of Des Moines, the Iowa Enlisted Association, the leadership of the Iowa National Guard and all their staff and the members from the Iowa National Guard that put together this conference and hosted it so well this week. All right. I'd also like to thank our exhibitors. I think we had a great exhibitor program, and particularly our platinum partners who are here, as well as all of those schools and institutions that sponsored our scholarships. We just couldn't do what we do without you. I'd also like to thank our senior leaders, particularly Command Sergeant Major Sampa, who's here with us this evening, as well as all of the other Sergeants Major, tags, and everyone else who is here this week. We really appreciate you being with us. It's meant a lot to us. Again, I'd like to thank, there you go, thank you. I'd also like to thank our great national office staff, as well as the national conference team. Doug Simpson and his team do yeoman's work trying to bring this conference together and bring it to what it should be and what it was. And so they've done a great job, and really appreciate all their support. Mr. Rogers, we really appreciate you being able to arrange or rearrange your schedule to be here with us this evening to close out the banquet with the Guard song, and thank you so much. Great to have you here. I'd also just like to say a big congratulations to all of our scholarship winners, the award recipients, as well as those states who won our membership competition. I think that was a lot of positive things, and we really want to recognize those members that do a lot for us. Also, okay, thank you. One more, thank you. All right. So next year, we look forward to seeing everybody in Little Rock. Oh, all right. Thank you all for attending this year. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Again, please share your story, anything that you've learned here, everything that happened. Share that back in your states, and let's continue to motivate others. There are still a lot of people out there that don't know what EANGUS is, what we do for our soldiers and airmen. So we need to continue to take that message out to the states. And I ask, this is our motivation, our rejuvenation time to be here at the conference together, and I hope you take that same spirit back to your states and continue to work for the EANGUS and the National Guard at your state level. Again, I'd just like to say safe travels, be careful on your way home, and thank you again for being here. Good night. Oh, wait. Sorry, I have one more thing. I had a second note, and I forgot to announce this, so I apologize. But earlier today, well, actually throughout the week, we've been collecting for We Care for America. And that is our 501c3 nonprofit that we use to assist soldiers and airmen who have emergency situations. So we collected money a couple of different ways. I want to announce that the Junior Enlisted Committee, through their fundraiser on Monday evening, collected $1,493 for We Care for America. We also received a check today from the EANGUS Auxiliary for $2,000. And then those of you that were in the business session this morning, you'll remember that luckily they could not find a little pink tricycle for me to ride around collecting money. Since I was in a skirt, I was happy they couldn't find that tricycle. But we had Treasurer Burris and Vice President Kennebec who rode around on some little contraption through the floor collecting money. And with the $2,000 from the auxiliary, the $1,400 from Junior Enlisted, and what we collected today, we have a total of $10,512 for We Care for America. Thank you so much for supporting that cause, and feel free to make any other donations online if you care to. Thank you so much. Good night. Safe travels.